Ever since I started my channel, there has been one game that has constantly been requested for me to cover. And now the wait is finally over. This is where we are going to start today, exploring the character of Sister Adella, a tale of blood, secrecy, and lies. Welcome to the haunting town of Yharnam, plagued by a mysterious scourge. At every corner, the Snatchers lurk, ready to whisk away any unsuspecting victims to the forbidden land of Yargul. Should you be one of those victims, you will awake in a cell. The prison is dark, save for a flickering candle. A young woman sits huddled in the corner, sobbing. This is Adella, a nun and devout member of the Healing Church. As you approach, you see she is in desperate prayer. Scared, witless, she will not want to speak with you, unless, of course, you give her a reason to trust you. If you don the garb of the Healing Church, Adella will recognize this familiar attire.
The Healing Church. You've come to save me. Oh, thank you, dear saint.
The Healing Church serves as the major religious institution within Yharnam and is a key component to Bloodborne's story. We will touch on what exact part it plays in a moment. We tell Adella that there is a safe place to hide back in the cathedral ward, the Erden Chapel. And when we manage to escape the prison, we find her back there. Speaking to her, we learn more about the Healing Church.
Together we await the help of the Healing Church. I cannot begin to express my gratitude to you. The only thing that I can offer is my own lowly blood.
But if it's blood you're interested in, you should try the Healing Church. The Church controls all knowledge on blood ministration and all varieties of blood.
As the name of this game would suggest, blood is a central theme. It's used as currency to level up and to heal oneself. Consuming blood is deeply rooted in the culture of Yharnam, and its practice was pioneered by the Healing Church. Blood ministration was invented as a means for healing, but also to gain power. Once a patient has had their blood ministered, a unique but common treatment in Yharnam, successive infusions recall the first and are all the more invigorating for it. No surprise that most Yharnamites are heavy users of blood. This is why Adella offers her blood to us. She is a nun of the Healing Church. The Healing Church nuns are chosen for their merit as vessels for blood and groomed as blood saints. But Adella's blood isn't just any old generic blood. She is a vessel, a mixing pot, her body used as a way of combining another type of blood within her, old blood. And deep within the cathedral ward is the old Grand Cathedral, the birthplace of the Healing Church's special blood. It's implied that blood saints like Adella had this special blood transfused into their body in order for them to mix it with their own blood. This new blood culture would exist organically in the vessel's body. The vessel, now blood saint, would be able to produce this special blood on their own accord, without need of the original source any longer. Where did the special blood come from in the first place? Scholars disturbed something deep, deep below the earth. An almighty being, its blood capable of supernatural healing properties. It seemed too good to be true. And that's because it was. See, what I didn't tell you yet is that consuming special blood comes with consequences. That being, that holy medium, was not of human comprehension, hence one of the game's most well-known quotes.
Fear the old blood.
This adage was not heeded. The Healing Church began its distribution of old blood. first doing so to cure disease. But as more and more people were injected, word of mouth spread as to the incredible efficacy of this new procedure, until the whole of Yharnam had been injected and thereby infected. This blood was addicting, so much so that in Yharnam they produce more blood than alcohol, as the former is the more intoxicating. Every time that blood was injected into the veins of the Yharnam people, it slowly began to change them. This foreign blood that now ran through their bodies twisted and mutated their DNA, or perhaps it just allowed their true natures to come to the surface. After all, what terrible things lurk deep within the frames of men? Beasts. The discovery of blood entailed the discovery of undesirable beasts. That scourge I mentioned earlier, the reason why townsfolk bar and lock their doors, what exactly the hunt they keep referring to is. The people of Yharnam who consume old blood become beasts. But this is not a well-known fact. You see, if the people of Yharnam knew of the origin of the old blood and knew the consequences of consuming it, they would rightly reject the healing church and refuse to take it. The truth about the scourge of beasts is kept a secret because of this, and also because the healing church prioritize research over the well-being of the Yharnamites. They believe that medicine is not a means of treatment, but rather a method for research, and that some knowledge can only be obtained by exposing oneself to sickness. So the healing church knowingly exposed the innocent villagers to a material that they didn't fully understand yet for the means of furthering science, but without consent, without even a solid hypothesis. And when they saw what they had done, to cover their tracks, they ordered the townsfolk to lock themselves in their homes and let the hunters take care of this sudden, mysterious scourge. Such is one of the dark truths about the Bloodborne universe. So Adella was deemed worthy, or rather a prime specimen in the eyes of the healing church. Through their experimentation, they discovered that her body was strong enough to undergo the transformative powers of cultivating old blood inside of her, and thus multiplying their sources of where they could access this powerful liquid. But despite this remarkable quality, Adella does not think much of herself, always using words to suggest that her blood is somehow second-rate.
What would a brave hunter do with lowly blood like mine? Please, forget I even asked.
Perhaps this is simply a part of her modest personality, or perhaps this is what she has been told. Maybe because she is so impressionable, the healing church indoctrinated her to believe that her blood was nothing special, just useful enough to heal. She was described as being groomed, which can be defined as simply preparing someone for a task, or more maliciously, building a connection for the purposes of manipulating and exploiting them. So it's possible that Adella was demeaned, belittled despite her potential, but in a way that it didn't sour her opinion of the church, and this is evident by the way she speaks so highly about them.
In the name of the healing church, cleanse us of this horrible dream. Sure to please an upstanding member of the church like you. Together we await the help of the healing church.
In her eyes, they are revered, which shows how much she was truly groomed by them. Using Adella's blood as a consumable is very effective. Not only does it restore HP, but it also gives you a heal over time as well. But is Adella really as innocent and ignorant to the power of blood as she appears to be?
All I can give is my blood. But would you even take a whore's blood?
Arianna is another character that you can invite to the safe haven in Erden Chapel, and she also happens to be someone who can provide special healing blood. However, Arianna is not explicitly stated anywhere to be a blood saint like Adella. She has no connection to the healing church in this regard, and yet her blood has special qualities. Using it restores HP and also increases your stamina regen rate for a decent chunk of time. And appropriately, this fits with her profession. Arianna is a woman of pleasure, a woman of the night, or simply put, a prostitute. When giving her blood to us, she mentions that this is not her first time doing so. This might imply that she has provided a combined service to customers before, giving her blood to increase her clients' stamina so that they can gratify themselves for longer and more successfully with her. But how is her blood able to provide these extra benefits than your average blood vial? What is the cause of this, if not through experimentation of the church? A member of the old healing church would know that her blood is similar indeed to precisely what was once forbidden blood. You remember I mentioned that scholars from Bergenworth discovered that holy medium deep within the tomb, which led to the founding of the healing church. Well, one of those scholars betrayed his fellow colleagues and brought forbidden blood back with him to Canehurst Castle, and it was there that the first of the inhuman vile bloods was born. Now, it's unclear if this forbidden blood is the same as the old blood that was used by the healing church. It's possible that scholar discovered another source of blood within the tomb, or perhaps it's simply categorized as forbidden because it was taken and used without permission from the church. Regardless, this act created a whole new faction, the Vile Bloods. Canehurst Vile Bloods are heretics in the eyes of the church. So because the healing church considers the Vile Bloods their enemy, they also consider their blood blasphemous, imperfect, and unholy, hence the coining of the name Vile Blood. I would like to cover this faction in their own individual video, as there is a lot to say about them, but in summary, the popular theory is that Arianna is related in some way to the Vile Bloods, as like her blood's item description posits, old scholars of the church would say that her blood is forbidden, just like that blood that runs through the veins of those who reside in Canehurst Castle. But Arianna should be safe with us in the chapel. No one knows that she could be a vile blood, so surely no harm will come to her here. When talking to the survivors that you gradually collect in the chapel, there is one fellow called the narrow-minded man, or skeptical man. As you talk to him more, you realise that he has a sort of quirk to him. What he says tends to be the exact opposite, and this is shown when he advises you about Arianna.
Beware the Lady of the Night. I can see it in her eyes. She deeply resents the young saint. She hears people whisper. She knows what people think of her. Yes. She despises the saint for having what she doesn't.
Here he mentions that tensions are rising between Arianna and Adella, specifically that Arianna hates Sister Adella. However, as we know that the narrow-minded man says the opposite of what is actually true, this means he's actually warning us that Adella is the one envious of Arianna. And this would make more sense based on the two women's body language. Arianna hasn't shown or said anything at all that would imply she is resentful of Adella. She sits whole body facing entirely away from her, like she has no idea that she's even there. Adella, on the other hand, has a very interesting reaction to Arianna. Whenever we speak to her, if you position your camera just right, you will actually see Adella looking over in our direction. This only happens when you initiate dialogue with Arianna. Adella will stand up and snap her head towards you, crouching closer to eavesdrop on your conversation. If you choose to receive Arianna's blood, Adella will be watching the entire time. Now, whether Adella knows that Arianna's blood is pathologically different to hers is not clear. Adella's judgment could just be on the basis that Arianna is a prostitute and she is a nun, so they are polar opposites to each other in this sense. This is also demonstrated by the differences in the images of their respective blood vials. Both women appear to have ripped off a scrap of their dresses, presumably to bottle the end of the vial. The fabric of Arianna's iconic dark red dress is used for hers. However, Adella uses white cloth. This is an interesting choice, as the majority of Adella's outfit is actually black. However, the use of the white material is symbolic. It comes back to the two women's professions. Adella is a nun, so white is appropriate, symbolizing her purity, piousness, and possible virginity. This may explain why she looks down on Arianna, the red of her dress symbolizing desire, lust, and fertility. Regardless of whether Adella knows that Arianna has forbidden blood or simply because of Arianna's line of work, taking her blood in front of Adella makes her offended, jealous, and obsessive. If you continue to do this a total of 3 times with Adella witnessing, Adella will not be able to contain herself any longer. Returning to the chapel, you will find, sadly, Arianna hunched over, limp, and in a pool of her own blood. Adella remains in her usual place and does not offer any comment on Arianna's sudden demise. However, her gloves are now discoloured. The put-together, modest, meticulous appearance of the nun is now stained with the blood of a whore. The reveal of the blood moon is a major turning point in the game and also a failure checkpoint for a lot of NPC questlines. Characters will succumb to madness, unable to do anything but laugh, having seen the world they once knew changed to a monstrous, unfathomable reality, and Adella is not spared from this. After the rise of the blood moon and the death of Arianna, you will find Adella hostile. She is no longer inside the chapel, but instead hiding behind a gravestone outside. Approaching you slowly, she pulls back her arm and clumsily swings at you with a dagger. This may be the murder weapon she previously used on Arianna, having hidden it somewhere on her person this whole time. This actually appears to be a unique weapon type, but we are unable to obtain it conventionally within the game, so we will never know the significance of it or where it came from because we don't have an item description. But the fact that Adella uses it so slowly and clumsily suggests that she's not accustomed to fighting nor wielding weapons. The scene of Arianna's murder is a bloodbath, not the sign of a seasoned, skilled murderer, nor an immaculate, clean sister of the church. Adella must have been insanely blinded by jealousy to be driven to such a murderous rage. But now, she turns the knife on you.
My sweet hunter. Your blood is tainted.
The mention of your blood and how it has been defiled strongly confirms that Adella's motive for murdering Arianna is due to her forbidden blood, and the fact that you have used it instead of Adella's pure and church-approved blood is something she cannot stand. With the rise of the blood moon, it seems Adella has succumbed to her hidden desires. Or could it be that Adella is not really in control?
I can't help myself.
These words, coupled with the way she moves, staggering with elbow bent, almost like a puppet on strings. When you inevitably put down Adella, she drops an item of interest. Odin Writhe, a rune inscribed with the language of the Great Ones. The Great One Odin, lacking form, exists only in voice. Odin, a being of cosmic horror, somehow is connected to Adella through blood. The rune in question reads, "Human or not, the oozing blood is a medium of the highest grade and the essence of the formless Great One." The medium mentioned here could be that same holy medium found in the tomb that was then injected into Adella. Odin, despite being described as a formless being, somehow has a physical essence in the form of blood, and that blood sits in Adella's veins, waiting to be activated. So it's possible that, unknowing to her, Adella lost control of herself because of the insidious influence of a Great One. It's debatable if Adella was in control of her own actions at the end, if she really wanted to go so far as to kill Arianna and attempt to do the same to us. Perhaps she is really a victim of circumstance, having been lied to and groomed by the Healing Church, unknowingly imbibing a great being's essence, and now helpless to powers far, far greater than anyone could have anticipated. This is what Bloodborne is about, blurring the line between victim and villain, and Sister Adella's tragic ending shows us that even the most virtuous of individuals can succumb to the allure of darkness. The people of Yharnam are simply mere insects to the greater beings at play here. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I can't believe this day has finally come where I'm covering Bloodborne. I know it's been out for 8-9 years now, but I'm so nervous to post this, to be honest, because I see how much Bloodborne is loved by a lot of people. I'm actually going to get a capture card soon, so I should be able to record some of my own gameplay and footage. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed, please let me know. Your feedback is really important for videos covering different games than I usually do, because I would love to do more. I'd love to cosplay more characters as well. If you enjoyed, and thank you everyone, and especially to my channel members and patrons. Ruses 5, Jawbite, Cole Coldwell, Hellborn Hero, Ritoyo, Exile Turtle, Bloodfallen 223, Jeremy, Monkaru, Kichu, Joe Africano, Nubist, Chase, Just Nick, Kevin H, Taganon Dowell, Tabris, Janthus Firas, Milo Raglan, Frankie Felix, Dark Souls Weeb, Daunted 232, Lord Horatius, Echo Sanvich, Joachim Westman, Bucky, STK True, Liver 22, Lua 420HZ, Carcharodon Zastra, Delanator 90, Meskir, Vinicius Arajo Lego, Trip Kennedy, Frozen Over, Matthew, Oblivion's Muse, Richard Pettigrew, Goth Reaper, Tim, Jodzin, Lord Mud, Lone Wolf, Joey Vision, Omni Rainbow, Motocross Cooper, Foam, Lord Glacier, Garrulus Goldmask, True Fenrir, Gross Hegan, Crystal Blue Persuasion, Reign of Pain, Andrew Haynes, Akura, Justice for Adan, J-Dub, S Keith 001, Can I Win Please, Chungo Bob, Fallen Mind, Mr. Alexan, Raglan Strom, Vincent E. M. Thorne, Cheskimo, Nox Camelius, Julie, David Mattison, Chris Ritson, Mug, Law Lover, Marco Rash, Roxy Zeppeli, Levante Truss, Charlotte 96, Mr. H, Shamrock 219, Dan Dingley, Jack Tesla, Eduz, Dylan Schnabel, Bugboy 001, Yoshida May Shoin, Arlen Leedy, PhD Cola, Hiragi, Joshua Waite, Drew Lighthead, Kevin Colkins, Kalmar, Mark Sharon, Wrath Sponge, Phyrexian Sleeper Agent, Alex, Raz, Emma, Jack Simpson, Gaping Donut, Jacob Thu, Fancy Pants Pikachu, E.T., Anthony Manzano, Twig, Caleb Sadlowski, Art888, McPlatypus, Med B, J, Mahit Mahanti, Brandon Finley, Syke Seal, Abysswalker 26, Jordan, Bob Lee, Nick Nugent, Mark Koswich, Red Martin, Deary Blossy Luxy, S. Majors, J. Gabriel Ronkainen, Tom Hallam, Vern, Ryan Brown, Orlando, Jack Manson, Pepperonioni, Chokai, Sheriff Whiskey, Ruben Espino, Ali Almari, Cross Hagen, Fitz, Camille Rodon, Jordan N, Fabio Walter, and Corwin 0125. Thank you everybody so much.